Now, as President Obama reflects on race in America today, President-elect Trump, he met with African-American leaders in New York City to talk about issues that impact their community. Joining us now to discuss those meetings are two men who attended it. He's an executive committee member on Trump's transition team, the Reverend Darrell Scott from Cleveland, and he's a Hall of Fame NFL legend, the one and only Jim Brown. Last night, Jim received the Sports Illustrated Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. You know, I got gloves up in my office that Muhammad Ali signed and sent to me.
Yeah, he must really like you.
By the way, so I want hold up your hands. Okay. Look at his right hand. Pan in on his right hand. No, that's the left hand. Your right one. Yeah.
Well, it's both.
No, show him the pinky. Look at the pinky. Look at how those hands. Is that all from football?
Yes.
Man, did you bust them like 20 times each?
Hey, look, I was busting something else, too. I was just getting busted.
You know, Pastor, you and I have been friends now. We've become friends over this campaign. I had the honor of hanging out with you last night, and we're talking religion and politics. We're having a good time, but we also spent a lot of time talking about the black community. And one of the things I suggest, and I know Donald Trump's talked about it because I've talked to him about it, and you have. So if we're going to take in $3 trillion repatriated money from multinational corporations at 10%, why don't we lower it to 5 or 6 and tell those companies to invest in your city of Cleveland, in Milwaukee, in Detroit, and Philadelphia. If you add to that education sent back to the communities and choice and competition for those dollars, because top-down education isn't working and inner-city schools have been impacted negatively the worst, wouldn't that help go a long way to showing that government can help the black community?
Absolutely. I mean, we felt disconnected by the government. We felt disconnected by whatever presidential administrations. It seems like we're forgotten people, a forgotten race. And we
Every 4 years, they come calling for votes.
Right, and right now, you know, especially during this last election, we presented a picture of oppression. That, you know, we even referred to whites as the oppressor. And so that puts a mentality that needs to be dealt with before we can make some positive change.
What do you think when Obama says that America by no means has overcome the legacies of slavery, Jim Crow, colonialism, racism, and that those who favor welfare cuts are racist? What is he talking about? This country elected him in massive numbers.
Yeah, well, once again, that speaks to the mindset. I mean, welfare should never be a goal. Welfare was meant to be assistance until you were able to make a positive change in your life. It was never supposed to be a lifestyle. We should never have second, third, fourth, fifth generation welfare recipients in America of any nationality.
Jim Brown, if Donald Trump follows up and brings economic development specifically into inner city America that needs it the most, if he gives parents whose kids have been suffering in inferior schools the choice to send them to more competitive schools, would that go a long way to getting away from this, I guess, the 90% of black America that always votes Democrat?
That's a very tricky
statement. That's not a tricky question. That's an easy question.
Well, I tell you, naturally, well, let me put it this way. The president-elect have already said that he's in. We made a presentation to him about economic development in the black community, about families, about the state of our black communities in this country. And he realizes that with the education and the attack on the violence that takes place, that we can then get on the right track. And with our economic development.
Did you walk out of that meeting confident today that he's going to follow up?
Oh, absolutely. He's not a phony.
He's not?
He's not a phony. So he agreed that we can work together. So we're coming to bring him something, and through this young gentleman, the pastor here, we have been able to come and be on your show tonight as a unified threesome.
If you look at polls along racial lines, America's never been more divided. Obama leaves after 8 years saying, we haven't overcome slavery, Jim Crow, colonialism, racism, and if you want a welfare cut, you're racist. Really? Every 4 years, as a conservative, I resent the Democratic Party playing the race card. I look at a president that saw, during his presidency, 4 3,000 dead people in his home city, 3,000 shot this year, and he didn't lift a finger, Pastor.
Chicago?
Not a finger.
Well, one of the reasons we had our meeting with the president-elect today is, you know, Jim Brown has a program that's been very effective over the years that can address this situation. Now, Mr. Trump made promises to the African-American community. What do you have to lose? Give me a chance. And rather than we sit down with intelligentsia and try to rely on statistics to try to address the affairs or the problems of the African-American community, Jim Brown already has a model. He already has a vehicle that's very, very effective in 99% of that which we need to address. And so my thing is, let's get it to the table. Let's get this administration. Let's get this country behind it. Put some gas in the vehicle, and we can ride this thing into a promised land.
All right. So if we go energy independent, if he's able to incentivize companies to build in Detroit, Cleveland, Philly, and all over the country, cities that need it, Milwaukee, then let's have some ribbon cuttings. Let's get some people hired. Let's fix the schools. And I say a lot of your problems go away. You agree?
Absolutely.
So I should be president.
But here's the deal.
What?
You're talking about it. This is your job to talk. We have to go out and implement it.
I agree. No, I'm not just talking.
This is a tremendous. Well, okay, then you're part of it. But this is the beginning.
All right.
Of a different attitude, because this young man has positioned the president in a position that he will be able to utilize so many of our great athletes and our great entertainers.
To help. You know, here it is.
Right, to help.
But the best part is he's talking to you now after he won.
Of course.
Right?
Yes,
so that to me is a good sign.
And you know what?
By the way, do you still want me to preach at the pulpit in your
January
church?
15th.
He's preaching right now.
Yeah,
I am not preaching right now. What do you mean I'm preaching right now?
January the 15th.
Listen, you have your own idea about it, which is good.
Here's what I believe. I believe that every child is a child of God. This is my message. Education means to bring forth from within, and we have destroyed so much talent of young people because we have not fed and given them the water and the light that they need to grow into what they could be, what God created them to be.
We are sitting here.
Yeah, I know. To help.
Yes.
That's why I invited you.
Thank you.